Yeah, welcome to today's class. We are still on function. So today we want to look at function called by value. The last class, I introduced you into the main function, where I said the main function represents the soul, right? So in this class, we are going to look at how that main function called the function, which was add. So, and I told you in the last class that that was called by value. Now, we also have call by reference. But in this class, I'm just going to explain more on that called by value. Now, in calling a function, I am going to explain two concepts, which is what? Um, uh, Formal argument and actual argument. So we have one, we have formal argument, and two, we have actual argument, right? Now, think of this one as the seat in the mind. And then think of this one as the people that are going to sit on that seat. That is what this actually means, formal argument and actual argument. So this formal argument is what you find in the header of, uh, of the function. So you have int add, right? And then you have int a and int b. So you have this. So this one, and this one are the what? The formal argument. These are the formal arguments. While you now have main, right? Int main. And inside this int main, you are calling the function. You are calling this add function. So when you now say, in the last class, when I said int result, and then I call add, and I supply two parameters to it, let's say 5 and 7, right? To this. Now, this and this are what you call the actual argument. So these two are the things you call actual argument. So this is now saying the people are coming in to occupy the seat that are inside the mind. So this one stays in the mind, and then this one is from the main, which is the soul, and that is what is going to be supplied, right? So based on that, we now move into what? Call by value. So let's explain call by value. So we are going to use the formal argument and the actual argument in the call by value. So I'm going to write another variable, and I'm going to write another function, and I will call that function modify, meaning I want to modify a variable inside the function, and then you will see how the value of that variable will be different from the value of the actual argument that I'm going to supply. So I'm going to create um, a function, and I'm not going to return anything. So that one, so let's write a complete program. I'll say, let's write it here. Include stdio.h, right? Then I'm going to write a function. So my function, since I'm not going to return anything, void modify, right? Void modify. Then I'm going to supply int a to it. Yeah. Then I'll say a, assign a plus 10 to it. Then inside this, my function, I will say printf. Printf. Then I'll say inside function a equals formal specifier this, and then this a. Then I'll close this. So this is my function. I'm writing a function. The name of the function is to modify, and it's expecting just one parameter. So is this one is the formal parameter, formal argument or formal parameter. So formal argument, right? So this is the formal argument. Now inside this function, I am going to, the value I'm going to supply here, I will add it, I'm going to modify it. I'm adding 10 to that value, and then I'm going to store it back into that memory location. Then this printf will be called inside to print out that is inside function. A is what? Whatever the value of A will be printed out on the screen. Then I am now going to call my main. So I have created a function here. So I'm going to call my main. So my main is int main, right? My main function. Then inside this my main function, I'm going to declare a variable. I'll say int x, and I will assign 5 to it, right? I'll assign 5 to it. Then I'll call this modify. I will say modify, right? And then I will assign this parameter to it, which is what? Modify x. Then here I will say print f. I will say in main x equals to formal specifier n, comma x. Then here I will say return 0. Then my curly bracket, I will close it here. Okay, so this is my function. Now include stdio.h. This is a header file that will allow me call this printf. I've created my function modify, and this modify, this is what is happening inside it. So the whole of this is my thought that I've created. And this thought is everything is going to take place in the mind, the heart, and the brain. All that trinity can be found here. Now, this is my soul, where I am now going to call this function, which is the thought, and I'm going to supply it with a value. So I declare the variable x, and I assign 5 to that x. Then I call modify, and I assign the value to it. So at this point now, control will go to this guy here, and x will be given to A. Then it will come in. It will become 5, which is the original value of A, which is because what this soul is doing is what? Is going to call by value. So in calling by value, soul is going to create a copy, not the original value. So this is the actual value, this one. So this is the actual value. So actual argument, that is, this is the actual value. So soul is going to make a copy of this 5, right? It's going to make a copy of this 5 and give to this A. Now, whatever this function does with that value is not going to affect what is originally here. So think of it as you make a photocopy of your document and give to somebody. So even if the person scribbled on that document, it is on the photocopy, not on the original. So that is what is happening. So this main, which is the soul, is going to make a copy of this 5 and then give it to A. Then it will come in here and the value of A will be altered. Then this one will now print out A. So this will print out, this will now become 5 plus 10, which will be what? 15. So 15 will be printed out on the screen, which is this. We printed out on the screen. So it will be inside function A equals to 15. That will be out on the screen. Then control will come back to this place. Then this printf function will now be called. So this one will now print out in main, right? X equals what will be the value? Since what happened here happened inside this scope, and this main only gave a copy of X to this one will print out 15. Why this one will still print out 5? This will still print out 5. So this is like the case of Jonah. God sent Jonah to preach to Nineveh. But Jonah had his own thought, right? And it was that his thought. So this was God giving a value to Jonah. But because Jonah had his own thought, what was in his own heart was what he implemented, which was what? He ran away. He didn't go to Nineveh. So that was call by value. But at a later stage, call by reference now came in. Meaning, if you want the divine to manipulate what is inside your thought, you are going to supply an address of where your value is and not a copy of that value. So it was when Jonah allowed the value of his thought to be altered, that was when he now carried out the action that was given to him by the divine. So that story of Jonah actually implemented this call by value and call by reference. So in call by value, you are making a copy of the variable and supplying it to the function. So whatever the function does stays in the function. It doesn't change this one. So the value of your soul is not changing, but the value of your thought is being manipulated. And we are seeing an output of it, which is what we are going to see, 15. But the original value of your soul is 5. That is call by value. So in the next class, I'm going to teach you the call by reference, where the original value of the soul will be altered. So what we will see here and what will be seen here will be the same. So till we see in the next class, bye-bye. So these are a code block to demonstrate call by value. I've written the program, as you can see. So I'm just going to execute this program for you to see what the output will be. This one will print inside function and to tell you the value of A as 15. And then it will return back to modify to this calling function, which is main. And then it will print out in main, X is 5. So let's execute it and see. So as you can see, this is the output. So this one will give me inside function, A equals to 15. Then in main, S equals to 5. So meaning you cannot manipulate what is inside the soul. So I only gave you access to this function. And then whatever you do in this function, it doesn't affect the soul. So I can dream. This is my dream state. I'm simulating this REM, but it doesn't change what is inside of me. Right? So when I wake up, it is still what is inside of me that I'm going to push out. So, but this is my dream state. This is my physical realm, right? So this is what comes into my physical realm. This is just what stays in my dream. So I can simulate this and watch and laugh. So that is what I want to demonstrate. So in the next class, I'm going to show you call by reference, where I will want to manipulate what is also in the soul. So when I wake up, I can execute it and make it a scene or an observed reality. So till we see in the next class, bye-bye.